Here is something I see almost every week. A Singapore SME owner tells me they tried AI, it did not really work, and they have quietly gone back to doing things the old way. They are not lazy and they are not slow. They opened the chat window, asked it a few questions, got some generic answers, and decided the hype was overblown. But the problem is not them, and it is not the tool. The problem is that almost everyone is using AI at the most basic level possible, and then judging the whole thing by that. In this video, I want to walk through the 5 mistakes I see again and again, and then give you the simple fix. No magic, no buzzwords, just the way I actually set this up for small teams here. Mistake 1. The toy trap. The first mistake is treating AI like a toy, or at best, a smarter search box. You open it, you ask it to write a birthday message or explain a term, you have a laugh, and that is the whole relationship. I call this level 0 thinking. At level 0, AI is something you visit, like a website. You type a question, you read an answer, you close the tab. Nothing in your business actually changes. The mental model is wrong from the start. You are treating a worker like a vending machine. A real worker does not just answer trivia. They sit with your files, they learn how your company does things, and they finish tasks from start to end. If the only thing you ever ask AI to do is settle an argument or summarize an article, of course it is going to feel like a toy. You have hired a capable assistant and handed them nothing but quiz questions. And here is the trap. Once it feels like a toy, you stop taking it seriously, so you never ask it to do the harder, more valuable work. The low expectation becomes a ceiling. You decided in the first 10 minutes that this thing is a novelty, and after that you only ever use it for novelties, which keeps proving the point you already made up your mind about. Mistake 2. Expecting magic. The second mistake is expecting magic with zero setup. This one is sneaky because it sounds like optimism. The owner hears that AI is powerful, sits down, types one vague instruction like improve my marketing, and waits for brilliance. What comes back is bland and generic because the tool knows nothing about the business. So the conclusion becomes AI does not understand my industry, and the laptop gets closed. Here is the honest truth. Anything good takes a small amount of setup, not weeks, not a consultant. But you do have to spend 20 minutes telling it who you are, who your customers are, and what good output actually looks like. Nobody expects a new hire to be useful on day 1 with no briefing, no examples, and no access to any files. Yet we expect exactly that from AI, and then we are disappointed when it behaves like a stranger who just walked in off the street. Mistake 3. No real context. The third mistake flows straight from the second. You never give it your real context. Your files, your past quotes, your email templates, your price list, the way you talk to customers, the format your reports need to be in. Most people keep all of that locked away on their computer and only ever talk to AI through a little chat box that cannot see any of it, so it guesses. It invents a generic version of your business that sounds plausible and is subtly wrong in every detail. This is the single biggest gap between people who think AI is useless and people who quietly run half their operations on it. The useful version is not smarter, it just has access. It can open the actual proposal you sent last month, match the tone, reuse your real numbers, and produce something you can send out with light edits. Think about a hypothetical renovation firm in Singapore. The generic chatbox writes a polite, soulless quote that could belong to any company on the island. The version that can see their last 20 quotes, writes in their voice, uses their line items, and gets the format right the first time. Same model, completely different result, and the only difference is access. Context is the whole game, and the chat window with no files is starved of context by design. As a piccino technician, even owners who get decent results often treat every task as a fresh negotiation. They write a long, clever prompt, get a good answer, and then throw it all away. Next week, the same task comes up, and they start from a blank box again, trying to remember what they did last time. That is not a system. That is a magic trick you have to relearn every time. The whole point of working with AI is repeatability. If you write a great prompt for, say, turning meeting notes into a follow-up email, that should become a thing you save and reuse, not a one-time performance. The owners who win are not writing better prompts than everyone else. They are building small repeatable workflows once, and then running them again and again with almost no thinking. The first time costs you effort. Every time after that is nearly free. The fifth mistake is leaving it all to one tech person. There is one curious staff member, or maybe the boss's nephew, who is good with computers, and AI becomes their little hobby in the corner. Everyone else keeps working the old way and waits for that one person to sprinkle some magic occasionally. This fails for an obvious reason. The people who know the work best, the ones doing sales, operations, and customer service every day, are the ones who should be pointing AI at real problems. When you bottleneck everything through one person, you get a handful of demos and nothing that sticks. AI should be normal, like email or a calculator, not a specialist priesthood, just an ordinary tool that the whole team reaches for when a task is repetitive, boring, or slow. The goal is not one AI wizard. The goal is a team where using it is simply how the work gets done. The good news is you do not need everyone to become technical. You need one person to set up a workflow, and then the rest of the team just runs it. The hard part is done once, by whoever is comfortable doing it, and everyone else gets the benefit without learning anything complicated. That is how it spreads naturally, instead of staying trapped in one corner of the office. What level 1 really means. So those are the 5. Notice they all share one root. Every single one keeps AI stuck at level 0. A clever chat window you visit, disconnected from your real work. The fix is to move to level 1. Level 1 is simple to say, and it changes everything. Level 1 means AI running on your own computer, working directly with your real files, not a separate website you copy and paste into. An assistant that can open your folders, read your actual documents, and write the results back to where you need them. The jump from level 0 to level 1 is not about a smarter model. It is about access and a place to work. Once AI can see your files and act on them, every one of those 5 mistakes starts to dissolve on its own because the tool is finally doing the job you actually have with the materials you actually use. The simple fix. Here is the simple fix, and I want to be very practical about it. Do not try to transform your whole company. Pick one real task, just one. Something that is repetitive and a little bit annoying, turning a sloppy set of notes into a clean client email, pulling key numbers out of a stack of invoices, drafting a first version of a proposal from a template you already use, then do it properly. Give the AI the real files for that task. Let it do the actual work, not a demo version, the real thing you would have done by hand. Sit with it, correct it once or twice, and get it to a result you would genuinely send. That is the entire move. One real task, real files, all the way to a finished result. When you see your own work come out the other side, the penny drops in a way that no demo video ever manages. Notice what this quietly fixes. You are no longer treating it like a toy because it just did real work. You did the small setup instead of expecting magic. You gave it real context, and you are about to make it repeatable. One honest task fixes 4 of the 5 mistakes at once. Start tiny one task, and then, the part most people skip, you save it. Once that one task works, capture it so you never have to set it up again. The way I think about this is turning a good result into a simple skill. You did the work once, you got it right, so now you write down the steps and the preferences so that next time it is one instruction instead of 20 minutes of fiddling. That is how a one-off win becomes a permanent capability. Do that for one task, then a second, then a third. You are not boiling the ocean, you are quietly building a small library of things your business now does faster, each one earned from a real result you have already seen with your own eyes. Tiny, real, repeatable, that is the whole philosophy, and it is the opposite of waiting for magic. A month of this beats a year of reading articles and watching demos, because every step leaves you with something that keeps working after you walk away. The free course. Now, I know the gap for most owners is not belief, it is the setup, installing the tools, getting AI onto your computer where it can see your files, doing that very first project without getting stuck halfway. So we made a free step-by-step course that walks you from level 0 to level 1 in plain language with no jargon. It takes you through installing Claude, setting up a tool called Warp so AI can work on your computer, running your first real project with your own files, and making one simple skill you can reuse. It is the exact path I have just described, only with someone showing you each click. No cost, no catch, just the on-ramp so you can stop visiting AI and start putting it to work. If you want that, head to aifirstasia.com/level1. That is aifirstasia.com/level1, and it is free. Start with one task this week, get it to a real result, and then save it. That single habit will do more for your business than any amount of reading about AI. And if you found this useful, subscribe for practical AI workflows for SME owners. No hype, no magic, just the honest setup that makes this stuff actually work. I will see you in the next one.